Your self-confidence can be damaged by the possibility that you may be on the spectrum, self-identifying as autistic, or by receiving a late diagnosis of autism. This is often caused by the stereotyping of autism by our society, not to mention the misconception many people have about autism. Although autism does present many challenges in our lives, there are many positive traits about being an adult on the spectrum that you may not be aware of. In this video, I'm going to share with you 8 positive traits of being on the spectrum. Let's get started. Hey, Define Yourselfers, I am Chris Mitchell, aka The Confident Autistic, from theconfidentautistic.com. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you will enjoy it, and I hope you will come back and watch more videos. I'm an autistic adult, late diagnosed, a multi-certified life coach, and an advocate for autistic adults who is on a mission to empower you to embrace autism confidently. If this resonates with you, please consider supporting my mission. You can show your support by liking, sharing, and commenting on this video, but the best way to show your support is by subscribing to this channel. When you subscribe, do not forget to click on the bell to be notified when new videos are posted and when I go live. It is important for you to know that this is not an exhaustive list, and not everyone is going to have all these positive traits. Remember that each person experiences autism differently. As autistics, many of us have an enhanced attention to detail. Those of us on the spectrum can be very precise and detail-oriented. Often, we can have a deep focus and concentration and may be free from distraction. Now, speaking for myself, I can and often am very precise and detail oriented. When my wife will tell me to go get something for the kitchen, I'll ask her, okay, where is it? And she'll say, it's in the refrigerator. I tell her, that's vague. You need to be more specific. Where in the refrigerator? What shelf is it on? What is it next to? And I need that precise information so I can find it quickly, because if it takes me a while to find it, I get frustrated and I will have a meltdown. I'm also detail oriented, and I am uh, detail oriented in a lot of things that I do. But I think I'm stronger on the precise side. I use precise language. I'm very choosy about the words, and I keep telling my wife, I said it this way for a reason to convey the message I wanted to share. I'm very precise when I speak about things. At times I think I would have made a great lawyer because I really analyze everything that comes out of my mouth and other people's mouths. My wife and I enjoy On Patrol Live on Friday nights, and I mean, ah, the sirens don't bother me that much. When the officer does not have his seatbelt on and the car is going bing, 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 that drives me up a wall. Or when a suspect's car is open, the keys in the ignition, the door's open, that is, keys in the ignition, that bing, 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 that repetitive sound drives me nuts. But what really drives me nuts about the show is people's grammar. And more often than not, it's a suspect, but there's some police officers that could use a few English lessons. I have to admit that are on the show, especially when the suspect says, I ain't done nothing. Well, that means if you ain't done nothing, that's two negatives. That means you've done something. And it drives me up a wall, the grammar on that show. And because I am very precise in how I speak, and I expect others to be precise too, because I don't like vagueness. I like preciseness. I like routine. I like predictability. I think that all goes together. Many autistics, including myself, have a strong memory. Autistic adults can possess an excellent long-term memory and superior recall compared to our autistic peers. Many of us can memorize and learn information quickly. Now, the latter part, I'm not that great. I'm not great at memorizing or learning information quickly. I think in some ways I have a learning disability, but it's never been really fully confirmed. But I do have a very strong long term memory. This year is 2024. I'm taping this then. And I can remember back to June 28th, 1985. And that was the last time I saw my friends in the neighborhood I grew up with, because on Friday, June 29th, we spent the day at our house in my new neighborhood, loading up the car, and we started our drive to California. I know that we arrived in California on July 3rd, 1985 in the afternoon, and our furniture and stuff that we moved in the moving truck had yet to arrive. It was going to come a day or two later. So I remember those exact details of that date. And not only do I remember them, I can visualize where I was at. I could tell you what car I was in, what seat I was in, what position the sun was in, what way we were driving down the road. I can remember all those details. It's pretty awesome. And so I'm kind of like, in our family, those who speak to me, I'm kind of like the family historian because I remember all this stuff. It's amazing what I can remember. We autistics often possess strong analytical skills. We often can spot patterns and repetition. We often use methodical approaches to problem solving. This is somewhat me. I think some areas are more me than others, but for me, let's see, strong analytical skills. Yes, I can be very analytical. When I'm problem solving, I try to look at every possible solution and the benefit and the drawbacks of each. And patterns and repetition. Love that. We like I know many people in the spectrum, I'm one of them, like routine. We like structure. We like predictability. And spotting patterns and repetition gives us that routine, that structure, that predictability that we crave. So I think we're good at spotting that, at least those of us who are good at spotting patterns and repetition. We're doing that because that is one of the ways we can self-care for ourselves and, you know, get the sensory input we need to help reduce the anxiety we may be experiencing, because having a routine, a structure, or predictability can reduce our anxiety. Many autistic adults, including myself, are creative. Our distinctive imagination allows us to be creative. We often can come up with innovative solutions and unique thought processes. I always thought my creativity, because I'm kind of dual diagnosed, I also have ADHD. I always thought my creativity came from my ADHD, and it may still come from it. But yes, in autism, we can be creative because we have distinct imaginations. We see the world differently. So I see how that does coexist in me, that I'm creative. I love my creativity. I like to think outside the box. I like doing new things. One of my passions is being creative digitally, making these videos and doing that kind of production. My passion, I guess you could call it my special interest since I was a kid, had been broadcasting, and I love broadcasting. I love it so much. It's changed a lot since I was a kid, and I won't get into all the we don't get into politics on the channel, but there've been some political changes in the landscape of broadcasting. Some changes made by the FCC and others, and some have been good, some have been bad. But everything evolves. Everything has a life cycle. I believe that, and yeah, I'm very creative, and I express my creativity through my digital creativity that I do, and the courses that I do, and the way that I present stuff, and the coaching, and how I coach, and how I present my coaching material. Many autistic adults are honest. Being honest and straightforward are two qualities that can be found in autistic adults, along with being dependable, reliable, and possess a strong sense of justice. Okay, honesty has been a big thing for me. As a kid, it wasn't. Because I was trying to break the rules, and I think I was breaking the rules because I was so frustrated, not understanding that I was on the spectrum. But yeah, being honest and rule follow are very important to me. The problem is, and I think this may be true for others on the spectrum. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments. Our honesty can get us into a lot of trouble because sometimes we're too honest. We don't filter. My wife describes me to people as Chris comes without a filter. And don't ask Chris a question unless you really want his response, because I will be honest about it. What puzzles me as an autistic adult is this. When I was at a live event the other day, a YouTube live stream, and the person who was presenting, I got a little bit out of it, but I was not really enjoying the whole presentation. And I wanted to say something, and I had to remind myself that you can't be negative, and you cannot. It's considered rude by Aulistics or by others. Let's be honest, okay? People find it rude, and I guess I might too. But the weird thing to me is this: I people want to hear my opinion, my honest opinion when it's positive. But nobody seems to want to hear our opinions when it's negative or when we're blunt. And because of our honesty and how blunt we can be at times, people might think we're British. I know people think I'm British because of how blunt that I can be at times. And I am very dependable and reliable. If I say I'm going to do something 99 out of 100 times, I keep that commitment. And once in a while, I fail. I'm a human, but I'm very dependable and reliable. And I possess a strong sense of justice. A lot of things, like I said, I don't want to get into politics, but I stay away from a lot of news because I find a lot of irony in it and injustice in what's going on in the world. And it is drives me upset, drives me batty, makes me upset and angry and cranky and irritable. So I kind of stay away from that because I have a strong sense of justice. I think the rules should apply for everybody. And that's one thing that I'm a big advocate for. Everyone should be held up to the same standards. No one should be above the law. Autistics can be goal oriented. People like you and me who are on the spectrum can be goal focused and achievement oriented. We can be hardworking and have a strong desire to finish our work. I, I I know this is within me. I feel like at times I'm a workaholic. I love working. I cannot imagine retiring. I know I'm getting up in the years. We all are. Every one of us is the oldest we've ever been in our lives. Just think about that for a moment and you'll get the joke. Anyway, I know I'm getting up in the years, and my wife has been forced into long-term disability, early retirement because of her stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. I cannot picture myself retiring and doing nothing but sitting in a chair watching TV all day. I cannot. I have to have goals. I have to have a purpose in my life. I have to be doing things. If I'm forced to retire, probably within the 6 months or even shorter, I'm probably going to die because I need goals. I need something to keep me motivated. That's who I am. Autistics like us may be less influenced by social biases. Because we're on the spectrum, we may be less influenced by socially derived biases and not tied to the same social expectations as others. And number 8, last but not least, autistic adults can develop deep expertise in topics that interest us, aka our special interests. Now it is your turn. What positive traits or characteristics or positivity have you found by being autistic? I mean, we often focus in on the negatives and what we can't do, how it challenges us, how it limits us. But let's talk about how it strengthens us. Let's talk about how it enhances us, how it gives us skills that maybe others don't possess or do not possess and develop as easily or as quickly as we do. Please share your thoughts in the comments on this video. Now, I may not be able to respond to each and every one of them, but I do read each and every one of them, and they do mean a lot to me. And I do appreciate all the comments on every video I've made and will continue to make. So please leave your comments. Love to hear them. So until next time, this is the Confident Autistic reminding you that now is the time for you to embrace autism confidently. Join me live Thursday nights for the Confident Autistic Live, where I answer your questions, we discuss this week's videos, offer support, and more. The fun starts Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time in the US of A. Be sure to click the bell when you subscribe to the channel to be notified when the party begins.